Greetings everybody, I hope you're good. Let's have a look at Ger40, and this time around let's start off our analysis on the H4 chart. And yeah, without wasting any further time, let's get straight into it. So one of the most important things that I see in regards to the H4 chart of Ger40 is the fact that we had this triple top at this point, right, which had a neckline more or less at that level, and we saw the neckline being broken at this point, and we saw also price moving further down to around the 13,700 zone, as you guys can see, right? So as much as we have what seems to be this triple top, and the market at this point in time is over here, what I would love to see happen actually is for price to actually end around the zone over here. And that is because the market, if you look at it actually, or the pattern started around this level over here, right? So I would love to see it end at this point over here, right? So there is quite a chance that as much as in regards to the H4 chart, the market is starting to look rather bullish, we might potentially see price push further down to that zone that I spoke about, right? So as much as also we have this triple top over here, just bear in mind that we have a W structure over here. Let me just actually zoom in. It's actually an overextended W structure, and that is because that first leg is much higher than the second leg, right? And it has a neckline more or less at that point, as you guys can see, right? But just keep in mind that as much as we have what seems to be an overextended W structure, the market is still very much at this point in time bearish, right? So we just need to be careful and just make sure that we take precaution in regards to buying or selling, right? um, However, having said that, at this point in time I don't see much in regards to buying or selling opportunities, although I will just point out that at this level over here we have that candlestick, which is a bullish candlestick with a relatively small body and a long upper wick, right? And it tells us that where we have that 14,000 zone, we have a lot of liquidity sitting there, and that liquidity needs to be grabbed by the market at one point or another. Similarly, we have another candlestick over here, right? It's also a bullish candlestick with a small body and quite a long wick. We've got another one here, right? So as much as at this point in time things seem to be rather bearish, there is some scope for the market to push further up to fill all of these zones that I've just spoken about, right? But just keep in mind that the market is in a downtrend, and at this point in time we should only be looking for selling opportunities, right? And as I've said, guys, as much as we have this W structure, we should only be looking for selling opportunities. I believe that we should only start looking for bullish opportunities once price closes above the neckline of this W structure and then heads back to the neckline to test it. If it does so, at this point is where we should be looking for potential buying opportunities, and our first big profit would then be this level over here, which is the 14,300 level, right? Why do I say this level? That is because it's a key level which I actually marked on the bigger time frames, or rather on the bigger time frames, such as the weekly chart, right? And our next take profit would be this zone over here, which is the 14,700 zone, which is very much similar to the zone in the fact that, or rather in the sense that it too is a key level, right? Anyway, let's proceed, guys. What else do we see in regards to this chart that we should be paying attention to, right? So as much as I've said, guys, that our first take profit should be this point, and our next profit, or rather our next take profit zone, should be the zone over here, right? The zone over here. Just also keep in the back of your mind that we have that triple top that I spoke about, and it has a neckline at that point, right? And the neckline will serve as a very strong area of resistance. So just keep that in the back of your mind, right? So from here, what I'm gonna do is head down to the H1 chart. So just bear with me, guys. So here we are on the H1 chart, and just to recap a bit, remember that on the H4 chart we spoke about how we have this overextended W structure, right? Just keep that in the back of your mind. And I said that once price closes above this neckline, we will wait for the market to head back to the neckline to test it, and at that 14,000 number is where we would look for potential buying opportunities, right? But as much as that's the case, what I would like to do right now is actually add a trend line again. So just bear with me, and I would add it in this manner. Let's see, and just also remember that the market currently is in a downward trajectory. So let's see. I would add my trend in that manner. Let me just make sure that it is very much accurate. Right, there we go. That seems about right. And then I'm just gonna zoom in a bit. Right. Let's have a look. Right. So in regards to this trend line that I've just added, we can see that we've had a rejection at that point, another rejection at this point, and price at this point tried to reject. However, we saw that price, or rather the market, closed to the upside of the trend line, right? And as far as trend lines go, on the third touch is where generally we sell. On the third rejection, that's where we generally sell. But we can see, as I've said, guys, that at this point price actually closed to the upside of that trend line, right? And we won't be selling. Anyway, let's proceed. So what else do we see, guys, in regards to this particular chart, which is the H1 chart of Ger40? Another thing that I see that is also very much interesting is that as much as I've said, guys, we've had this W structure over here, we also seem to have this inverted head and shoulders pattern, which also has a neckline more or less in that region, right? So number one, this W structure, combined with the fact that we have this inverted head and shoulders pattern, right? So these two patterns are sort of confirmations that we should be looking for buying opportunities, right? To add to that, we have this trend line being broken to the upside, right? So we have three reasons rather for why we should be looking for potential buying opportunities, right? However, in as far as making safe trades go, I would say rather wait for price to close above the neckline of this W structure, as well as the neckline of this inverted head and shoulders pattern, right? To add to that, I would say wait for the market to close above that 14,000 number, and then again wait for the market to head back to the number to test it. And at this point is where you should be looking for potential buying opportunities, right? Having said that, just also in the back of your mind, keep the fact that, or the possibility that this could be a false breakout, and that we might potentially see the market push further down, at least to this level. Why do I say so? That is because we have, if you look in this area, we have some pen bars, and they are reversal candlestick patterns, and they indicate that as much as it looks as if the market has closed above the trend line, the market may actually push further down to at least this level over here, right? So just keep that in the back of your mind as you proceed, right? However, having said all that, guys, and in fact, before I conclude, let me just add another trend line. Just bear with me, right? So here's another trend line over here, right? That motivates for why price from where it is may potentially move further down, and that is because we've had multiple rejections on that other trend line, right? So we just need to be careful, and this may just be a false breakout to the upside, and we might potentially see the market push further down to at least this level, where we might then see the market push up, right? And another reason why the market would actually push down to around let me just zoom out to around this level is because, actually, as I've said, we've had this W structure, and what normally happens in regards to W structures is that a lot of traders and investors buy on the second leg of the W structure, and they place their stop losses just below that W structure. So similarly, a lot of traders and investors bought on this leg of the W, and they place their stop losses at this point, right? So what this means, in other words, is that there's a lot of money sitting at this point, and that what we may see in the future or over the next couple of hours or even days is that the market may push further down, right, to grab all of those stop losses that are sitting here, and then we might then see a reversal of sorts, right? So as I've said, guys, as much as I've also said that we have this W structure and we have this inverted head and shoulders pattern over here, in as far as buying goes, I would say wait for the market to close above, just bear with me, above this zone over here, and then again wait for it to head back to the neckline, or rather the 14,000 number, to test it. And at this point is where you should be looking for further buying opportunities, and you take profit. And your first take profit should be this point over here, and your next take profit should be this level over here. But also keeping in mind that, if I can just zoom out a bit and go back to the H4 chart, keep in mind that we had this triple top, which had a neckline at that point, and that neckline will serve as an area of resistance as price may come to this point, and then at this point move further down, right? So that is it as far as my analysis goes. I hope it makes sense, and peace out.